We have a lot to talk about, but let's start with some of what we heard from Chair Powell, and specifically his admonition that we may need more help on unemployment, may need more help with state and local, so we don't have layoffs. What does that tell you, if anything, about the need for further fiscal stimulus, and when would we have it?
Well, first off, I think we have to be careful about how we spend our money. This is somebody's taxpayer money. It's either you're taxing people now or you're going to tax them later. So let's focus on the biggest problem. Let's make sure we have liability support, we protection for our first responders and our small businesses. Let's make sure we help those that have lost their jobs. Let's make sure we help our small businesses. But what I don't want to do is fix the budgets for states that have wasted their money for years. They won't balance their budget. They just keep borrowing money, won't fix their pension plans. And like Florida taxpayers shouldn't be paying for that. So we've already spent a significant amount of money at our states. Let's make sure we get a return on all the money we've been spending, and let's help those that are still unemployed and help our small businesses.
Senator Scott, does that give you a different attitude perhaps toward an infrastructure bill? Because there are stories now that the White House may be considering a $1 trillion proposal. Do you see that more as an investment that you would get return on? Would you be in favor of that?
Well, I did it as governor. I believe in investing in our infrastructure. I took our transportation budget from about $7 billion a year to $10 billion a year. We invested $1.5 billion in our ports, and it paid off. So as long as you invest your infrastructure dollars in areas where you help create jobs, it works. What I said to our transportation department is, let's spend our money where we're going to get more jobs. And it helped us because in those 8 years, the private sector had 1.7 million jobs in my state. So I believe in our infrastructure. I believe in investing in the infrastructure, but we've got to do it in a manner, not just to feel like, oh, we spent some money, but we actually help our job market. That's what we need, more jobs in this country.
Senator Scott, let's talk about your home state of Florida specifically. There are reports of an increase in the number of COVID cases down there. Are you concerned that we may be seeing a real uptick that may slow down the progress of the economy in the state of Florida?
Well, as I talk to Floridians, I think everybody realizes now the risk of coronavirus, but we also know we have to open our economy. So our businesses are saying, how do we keep our employees safe? How do we get our customers back and keep them safe? And I think all of our families are saying, how do we get back to a normal life as quickly as we can, but knowing we have to do it safely? I know we're doing a lot more testing right now. I know that we're working on the vaccine. I know our doctors are working on, and our pharmaceutical companies are in the therapeutics. So I think it's all hands on board, but we got to keep our economy open and keep people safe.
Let's give your thoughts on the policing situation now. You've written an op-ed piece in the USA Today, really saying we should not be defunding the police, but putting aside defunding, really taking away all the money. Are you in favor of reallocating some money so the police don't have to do all they do now, putting more into some social services that might reduce some of the threats of crime?
Well, we clearly have to make changes. We have to look at what do we have to do from a training program. If we have to look at what do we do to make sure we're solving the problems that that we actually have asked the police to do. But what I oppose is this concept that we're just going to shut down the police. What happened to George Floyd is despicable. I talk to law enforcement pretty much every day. They are disgusted with what happened and what those officers did. But you don't do it by defunding them. You do it by helping them. If there's a bad person, let's figure out how to get rid of it. If we need more training, let's do that. I've been working with Senator Tim Scott. We'll be coming out with a proposal in the Senate, but it's focused on how do we keep our communities safe and how do we make sure everybody has the opportunity to get ahead.
How does that bill that we'll see perhaps later on, how does that bill address the question of accountability of police? Because certainly the vast majority of police are really good people who do a really hard job well, but there are some, clearly, we've seen the videotape, that shouldn't have their jobs. How do we make sure that we get rid of them? Are you in favor, for example, or at least open to the possibility of adjusting the immunity from prosecution for police?
Well, here's the way I think about it. What I try to do as governor, whether it was through our university system or through economic development, is get a return for the dollars we spend. So what I've been talking about is, if we want the murder rate to go down, let's make sure we allocate the dollars where people actually get results. And if they don't, they should give us those dollars back. Because I want to get a result. I want safety for every citizen in my state. I want the murder rate to go down. When I left office, we were at a 47 or 48-year low in our crime rate, and it's because we focused on getting results. So whatever money we spend at the federal level, let's make sure we're saying to ourselves, what do we actually get something for it? I don't want to just spend the money to feel good. I want to spend the money to get a result.
And finally, Senator, we've talked before about China and the role of China in the coronavirus, and you've been very outspoken in the fact that something needs to be done. But is there any benefit either to the economy or to public health in really punishing China right now for the coronavirus?
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to look at China has decided to be our adversary. They have decided not to be our friend. And it's not the Chinese people, it's the Chinese government. It's a communist government. It's run by the General Secretary of the Communist Party, Xi. He has decided to not be transparent, to not help us. Our intelligence agencies are telling us they're trying to sabotage or delay our vaccine. That your friends don't do that. So what we have to do is we have to call them out on what they're doing, hold them accountable, and hopefully the Chinese government will change so we can have a working relationship with them rather than this Cold War that Xi is creating with the United States.